Commander Taiho stood on the bridge of the Valkyrie ship as it entered Earth's atmosphere. His silver skin reflected the blue glow of the planet below. The ship was quiet, as the crew worked at their stations. This was Taiho's 18th first contact mission, but something about this planet made him nervous. "Status report," he said. Science Officer Jiwoo looked up from her console, all four of her eyes blinking in sequence. "Air is mostly nitrogen and oxygen. Gravity is slightly stronger than our homeworld. Temperature is within acceptable range." "Good. Begin landing sequence," Taiho ordered. He watched the clouds part as they descended toward a small clearing in a dense forest. They had chosen this location carefully, far from human settlements but close enough to observe. Suddenly, warning lights flashed across the control panel. The ship shuddered violently. "Commander!" Jiwoo's voice rose in alarm. "Our systems are failing. The radiation levels are much higher than our scans showed." Security Chief Minho grabbed a support rail as the ship lurched sideways. "Navigation is not responding. Emergency landing protocols," Taiho shouted as the craft began to spin. The forest below rushed toward them at frightening speed. The impact threw Taiho against the wall. Pain shot through his body as the ship slid across the forest floor, taking down trees and digging a deep trench in the soil. When the movement finally stopped, emergency lights bathed the bridge in red. Taiho pushed himself up and felt it immediately, the crushing weight of Earth's gravity pulling at his body. His breathing mask had activated automatically, but warning symbols flashed on his wrist panel. The air was too rich in oxygen, dangerous to their biology. "Is everyone alive?" he called out. One by one, his crew responded. They had survived, but the ship was badly damaged. Medical Officer Yoonji ran a scanner over Taiho's arm. "The commander is injured but stable. Everyone needs to keep their protection suits sealed. This planet's microbes could be deadly to us." Minho checked the ship's systems. Main engines destroyed. Communication array damaged. Life support is functioning but limited. Taiho looked out the cracked viewport at the alien forest. Earth had seemed so ordinary in their scans. Now he realized they had made a terrible mistake. "How long can we survive here?" he asked Yoonji. She looked at her readings. "With current supplies and energy levels, 30 Earth days at most." Jiwoo was checking her science station. "Commander, these readings don't make sense. This planet should be classified as highly dangerous. The radiation alone would kill most spacefaring species over time." "And the gravity?" Taiho asked, feeling the strain on his muscles. 20% stronger than our homeworld. It will exhaust us quickly." Taiho nodded grimly. "And the native species? The humans?" "They evolved here," Jiwoo said with wonder in her voice. "Their bodies must be incredibly resilient to survive these conditions naturally." 3 days passed as they worked to repair the ship. The forest around them was alive with sounds and movement. Every life form they detected seemed to be engaged in a constant battle for survival. It was nothing like the carefully balanced ecosystems of Union worlds. On the 4th day, Minho detected movement near the edge of the clearing. "Commander, we have company." 5 humans emerged from the trees. They wore simple clothing and carried basic tools. Most shocking to the Valkyrie was how exposed they were. No breathing assistance, no radiation protection, nothing to shield them from the countless microorganisms that filled the air. "How are they surviving?" whispered Yoonji, watching. Through the viewport, the humans approached cautiously. One pointed at the damaged ship and said something to the others. They didn't appear frightened, merely curious. "Activate the translator," Taiho ordered. "We need to communicate with them." When the translator was ready, Taiho spoke through the external speakers. "We come in peace. Our ship is damaged. We are visitors from another world." The humans stopped, clearly surprised to hear their language. After a moment, one stepped forward, a male with dark hair. "My name is Junho," he said. "Are you hurt? Do you need help?" The simple offer stunned Taiho. These creatures living on a death trap of a planet were offering assistance rather than running away in fear. "Yes," Taiho replied after a moment. "We need help, but be warned. Our biology is very different from yours. This world is difficult for us. Junho nodded, as if this made perfect sense. A storm is coming tonight. We should secure your ship first. As Junho spoke, Taiho noticed dark clouds gathering overhead. The humans had sensed the changing weather before even the Valkyrie instruments had detected it. In that moment, Taiho understood the truth. They hadn't discovered a primitive species on a habitable world. They had encountered survivors. Apex predators evolved on one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. The rain fell hard against the damaged ship as night descended. Inside, the Valkyrie crew watched in amazement as the humans worked outside, without concern. Lightning flashed across the sky, but Junho and his friends continued securing tarps over the damaged hull. They don't even flinch at the electrical discharges, Minho said, his protective scales slightly raised in alarm. One direct strike would kill any of us instantly. Medical Officer Yunji was studying readings from her scanner. Their skin naturally insulates against electrical current to some degree. And their immune system, I've never seen anything like this. They're hosting millions of microorganisms without ill effect. Commander Taiho stood nearby, watching Junho direct the other humans. The storm had appeared suddenly, but the humans had predicted it hours before the Valkyrie instruments detected it. They seemed to read their planet's patterns instinctively. The ship can't be moved, Jiwoo reported. Engine core is completely damaged. We need parts that don't exist on this planet. A loud knock on the outer door interrupted their discussion. Taiho nodded to Minho, who opened the small communication panel. We've covered the worst damage. Junho's voice came through. May we come inside? We brought food and medical supplies. Taiho hesitated. Contact protocols were clear, minimal interaction until cultural assessment was complete. But they were stranded, and these humans had already proven helpful. You may enter through the decontamination chamber, Taiho decided. But understand our atmosphere is different from yours. You may find it difficult to breathe. The inner door opened and 3 humans stepped inside. Junho, a female named Sumi, and an older male called Doyun. They carried bags made of simple materials. As the door sealed behind them, the humans looked around with open curiosity. Your air is thin, Sumi noted, taking slightly deeper breaths. But we can manage. Doyun set down his bag and opened it, revealing strange plant materials and containers. We brought food. We don't know what you eat, but we cannot consume your food, Yunji explained gently. Our biology is too different. But we appreciate the gesture. Junho studied the aliens with fascination. Where do you come from? How far away is your home? Jiwoo brought up a star map on a nearby screen. We are from here, she pointed to a star system. Approximately 87 light-years from Earth. Our union includes 27 worlds across this region. The humans absorbed this information without the shock or fear the Valkyrie expected. Instead, they asked practical questions about the ship's needs and how they might help. We can bring more people with technical skills, Junho offered. Engineers who might understand your systems better. Your technology is far behind ours, Minho said, not unkindly. Your most advanced tools would be primitive compared to our simplest systems. Doyun smiled. We're good at figuring things out. Humans adapt quickly. As if to prove his point, a loud crack of thunder shook the ship. The lights flickered and several Valkyrie systems beeped in alarm. While the aliens flinched at the disturbance, the humans barely reacted. Has your world always been this hostile? Taiho asked. The humans exchanged puzzled looks. Hostile? Sumi asked. This is just a summer thunderstorm. She means, Junho added, that Earth has many environments. This forest is quite mild compared to our deserts, Arctic regions, or deep oceans. The Valkyrie were silent as they processed this. A world with even more extreme conditions than this forest was difficult to imagine. Later that night, after the humans left to make camp nearby, the Valkyrie held an emergency meeting. Their physical resilience is remarkable, Yunji reported. They withstand temperature variations that would kill us. They breathe oxygen concentrations that should be toxic. They're constantly exposed to radiation and harmful microbes without protection. And their behavior is equally surprising, Jiwoo added. They showed no fear of us, only curiosity and helpfulness. Taeho looked at his crew. We must update our assessment of humans. They are not the primitive species we expected. They are apex predators who have mastered survival in conditions that would be lethal to most sentient beings. The next morning, more humans arrived with vehicles and equipment. Among them were government officials and scientists who approached the situation with startling calm. Within hours, they had established a temporary base around the crash site and begun systematic efforts to help. They're organizing faster than expected, Minho observed as humans in various uniforms set up shelters and communication equipment. A female human in a formal outfit approached the ship. I am Ji-young from the United Nations Diplomatic Corps, she announced. We've established secure communications with your vessel and would like to formally welcome you to Earth. As Taeho prepared to meet this official representative, he noticed something odd through the viewport. A small human child had wandered away from the base and was trying to catch a flying insect with her bare hands. The insect, which Valkyrie scans showed contained venom, posed a potential threat, yet the child's parents watched calmly, allowing this risk as if it were normal. It was then that Taeho truly understood. Humans didn't just survive on this deadly world. They had been shaped by it, hardened by it until danger became so normal they barely noticed it anymore. Taeho sat across from Ji-young in the makeshift meeting room the humans had built next to the crashed ship. The walls were simple fabric stretched over metal frames, yet they provided adequate protection from Earth's harsh sunlight. The United Nations had moved quickly, establishing a secure zone around the crash site and controlling information about the alien visitors. We appreciate your discretion, Taeho said, his translator converting his musical language into human speech. First contact situations are delicate, Ji-young nodded. We understand. Many of our cultures have stories about visitors from the stars. Some were peaceful stories, others were not. She smiled slightly. We prefer the peaceful ones. Behind Taeho, Science Officer Jiwoo operated a small projector that displayed a map of the known galaxy. 27 points of light glowed brightly, representing the worlds of the Galactic Union. Our union formed over 2,000 Earth years ago, Taeho explained. Most member worlds evolved in similar conditions: moderate gravity, filtered radiation, and carefully balanced ecosystems. Several human scientists watched intently, taking notes. One raised his hand, a quiet man named Hyunwoo who specialized in biology. You mentioned filtered radiation, he said. Do you mean your homeworlds have stronger atmospheric protection than Earth? Jiwoo blinked her 4 eyes in sequence, a sign of surprise. Your atmosphere is considered dangerously thin by Union standards. The radiation levels here would require protective shelters on most Union worlds. The humans exchanged looks. Another scientist, Min-jae, leaned forward. And what about our gravity? You seem to be moving with some difficulty. Medical Officer Yoonji joined the conversation. Earth's gravity is approximately 20% stronger than the Union average. It places continuous strain on our musculature and skeletal systems. Fascinating, Min-jae whispered. The conditions we consider normal are extreme to you. Taeho nodded. We originally classified Earth as a moderate condition world based on long-range scans. Now we understand it would be categorized as a Class 5 environment. Class 5? Ji-young asked. A death world, Security Chief Minho said bluntly. A planet with naturally occurring conditions hostile to most forms of advanced life. The room fell silent. Ji-young looked troubled. You're saying most other intelligent species in the galaxy wouldn't survive here? Not without significant technological assistance, Taeho confirmed. Yet humans not only survive here, you thrive. Your children play outdoors. You build homes. With thin walls, you breathe unfiltered air. To demonstrate, Jiwoo displayed images of other Union species alongside their home environments. The humans saw worlds with thick atmospheres, less dramatic weather patterns, and carefully balanced ecosystems. We evolved in relatively stable environments, Taeho explained. Our technology developed to enhance comfort rather than ensure survival. Ji-young seemed to consider this information carefully. Perhaps you could tell us more about these other worlds. What kinds of challenges do they face? Taiho hesitated, then decided honesty was best. Most Union worlds haven't faced a major natural disaster in thousands of years. Their orbits are stable, their weather patterns predictable. The human scientists looked increasingly surprised. Hyunwoo spoke up again. No ice ages? No asteroid impacts? No supervolcanoes? Such events would be civilization-ending catastrophes. Minho replied. They would require planetary evacuation. But Earth has experienced all of those things, Hyunwoo said. Multiple times. Life here has survived 5 mass extinction events. Now it was the Valkyrie's turn to be shocked. Ji-woo's scales changed color slightly. And human civilization? How has it endured such events? The humans exchanged glances. Ji-young spoke carefully. Our modern civilization hasn't faced a true extinction-level event yet, but our species has survived ice ages, massive climate shifts, and countless natural disasters. You've also survived countless diseases, Yoonji noted, reviewing data on her screen. Your medical records indicate exposure to millions of pathogens. Union species typically encounter only a few hundred in their lifetimes. And your wars, Minho added. You've developed weapons specifically to kill other humans. Most Union species abandoned internal conflict before developing advanced technology. An uncomfortable silence filled the room. Taiho watched the humans process this information, expecting them to feel pride or perhaps superiority. Instead, he saw something unexpected, thoughtfulness and a hint of sadness. We never realized our world was so different, Ji-young finally said. We've always just focused on surviving, on getting better. Later that evening, as the human delegation departed, Taiho stood with his crew watching the sunset. Earth's sun was already stronger than most Union worlds, and its unfiltered light painted the sky in colors that would be considered warning signs elsewhere. They don't even realize how remarkable they are, Ji-woo said quietly. They think their resilience is normal. That's what worries me, Minho replied. They've developed in an environment that constantly tries to kill them. They expect hardship. They prepare for disaster. What will happen when they reach the stars and find worlds they consider paradises? Taiho watched as a group of human workers set up lights around the perimeter, working into the dangerous night without concern for predators or temperature drops. One worker had a visible injury on his arm, a deep cut that would take a Valkyrie weeks to heal. The human had simply covered it with a thin bandage and continued working. The Union has never encountered a species like humans before, Taiho said. They were forged in conditions we can barely survive. Whatever happens next, the galaxy will never be the same. Taiho was reviewing repair plans with Junho when the alarm sounded. The Valkyrie commander rushed to the communication center where Ji-woo was studying the long-range scanner. What is it? Taiho asked. A ship just entered the solar system, Ji-woo said, her 4 eyes wide with concern. It's a nomad vessel. Minho joined them, his protective scales darkening with stress. Nomads here? This is outside their normal territory. They must have detected our crash, Taiho said. We need to warn the humans. Within minutes, Ji-young and several military officers had gathered in the command center. The humans listened, carefully as Taiho explained. Nomads are scavengers, he said. They target developing worlds, stealing resources and technology. They avoid Union worlds because of our defense systems. How dangerous are they? Asked Sunho, a human military. Commander, their technology is far beyond yours, Minho replied. One ship could destroy your largest cities with ease. Taiho expected fear or panic. Instead, the humans immediately began planning defense strategies. Ji-young issued orders through her communication device while Sunho studied the nomad ship's approach path on the screen. We need to evacuate the area, Sunho said calmly. How long until they arrive? Approximately 12 hours, Ji-woo answered. That's enough time, Sunho nodded. We can move civilians and position our forces. Taiho was confused. You plan to fight? Your weapons cannot harm their ship. Sunho smiled grimly. We've been preparing for this possibility since we discovered your crash. We have a few ideas. Throughout the day, Taiho watched in amazement as the humans organized with remarkable efficiency. Military vehicles arrived carrying equipment that the humans kept hidden from the Valkyries' view. Civilian areas were evacuated without panic. By evening, the forest around the crash site had been transformed into a carefully planned defensive position. Your people seem very prepared for a crisis, Taiho said to Ji-young. Humans have always planned for the worst, she replied. For centuries, we've imagined meeting hostile aliens. We have protocols in place. The Nomad ship entered Earth's atmosphere just after midnight. It was larger than the Valkyrie vessel, with dark purple hull plates and visible weapon systems. It moved directly toward a major city, ignoring the crash site. They're following standard procedure, Minho explained. First, they demonstrate power over a population center, then they make demands. The humans watched calmly as the Nomad ship positioned itself above the city. A loud broadcast began in multiple human languages, demanding surrender and resources. Here comes the threat display, Taiho said. Before the Nomads could demonstrate their weapons, something unexpected happened. The city below went completely dark. Every light, every power source suddenly switched off. Then a powerful electromagnetic pulse shot upward from several positions around the city. The Nomad ship's exterior lights flickered, its broadcast cut off mid-sentence. An EMP attack, Jiwoo said in surprise. The humans just temporarily disabled their external sensors. On the screen, they watched as the Nomad vessel hovered in confusion. Then small objects began rising from the ground, human aircraft, moving in patterns that confused the Nomad targeting systems. They're using their own vehicles as decoys, Minho realized, forcing the Nomads to waste energy on minor threats. The Nomad ship fired energy weapons, destroying several aircraft, but more kept coming, approaching from different angles. The Nomads couldn't target them all. This is a distraction, Taiho said suddenly. What are they really planning? His question was answered when several large missiles launched from hidden positions. The Nomads destroyed most of them easily, but one reached the ship and exploded against its hull. The damage was minimal, but the Nomads responded exactly as Taiho expected. They launched ground forces to eliminate the threat. They're sending troops, Taiho warned. Their soldiers have advanced weapons and armor. Ji-young nodded. We're counting on it. The Nomad landing crafts touched down at the edge of the city. Warriors in dark armor emerged carrying energy weapons. They moved with confidence, expecting easy victory against primitive opponents. What happened next shocked even the Valkyrie. The human forces didn't engage directly. Instead, they lured the Nomads into prepared areas. Narrow streets, building interiors, underground tunnels. Places where the Nomads' advanced sensors were less effective, where their large weapons were difficult to maneuver. They're using their knowledge of the environment, Minho said with growing respect, making the Nomads fight on human terms. In these close quarters, human soldiers fought with surprising effectiveness. They used simple traps, coordinated attacks, and sheer numbers to overwhelm the technologically superior invaders. When a Nomad warrior fell, humans quickly dragged away its weapons and armor for study. They're learning during the battle, Jiwoo whispered, adapting to Nomad tactics in real time. The fighting continued for hours. Eventually, the Nomad commander recalled surviving troops to their ship. As the vessel rose from Earth's atmosphere, it broadcast a final message, not to humans but to other spacefaring races. A warning about the dangerous species on the blue planet. They're retreating, Taiho said in disbelief. I've never seen Nomads retreat before. Sunho entered the command center, tired but smiling. We lost people and equipment, but we gained knowledge. Next time, we'll be better prepared. Taiho looked at the human commander with new understanding. There was never a question of surrender, was there? No, Sunho replied simply. Humans don't give up. It's not in our nature. 6 months after the Nomad attack, Taiho stood in the large observation dome of the Galactic Union diplomatic vessel orbiting Earth. The blue planet turned slowly below, beautiful and deadly. Beside him stood Ji-young, now serving as Earth's official ambassador to the Union. "The Council has reached a decision," Taeho said, handing her a small crystal tablet. "Earth is formally invited to join the Galactic Union as a probationary member." Ji-young accepted the tablet with a slight bow. "We are honored, though I understand some council members had concerns." Taeho nodded. Many were worried about offering membership to a species that hasn't developed its own faster-than-light travel. Others were concerned about human adaptability. "They fear us," Ji-young said simply. "With good reason," Taeho replied. "The Nomad incident has spread across Union space. Stories about Earth being a death world and humans being unnaturally resilient. Some call you the predator species." Ji-young smiled. "And yet the Council voted in our favor, because I showed them what would happen if we didn't welcome humans as friends." Taeho turned to face her directly. "Your people will reach the stars with or without our help. Better to guide that journey than fear it." As part of the membership agreement, the Union provided Earth with basic technological knowledge: propulsion theory, material science, energy generation. The Council expected humans would take decades to understand these concepts. They were wrong. Within 3 months, human scientists had adapted Union theories to work with Earth materials. Within 6, they had built prototype engines. Taeho watched with amazement as humans took complex alien ideas and made them simpler, sturdier, more practical. "They work differently than we do," Jiwoo explained to the Union scientists who came to observe. "They don't try to master the underlying principles first. They experiment, fail, adjust, and try again. It's chaotic but effective." In a laboratory beneath a mountain, Taeho watched as Min-jae and his team tested a new propulsion system. The engine was a strange hybrid of Union design and human engineering. It looked crude compared to Union technology, with exposed components and manual controls. But it worked. "The efficiency is lower than our standard engines," Minho noted. "But it can be built with Earth materials and withstand much harsher conditions. That's the human approach," Taeho replied. "They prioritize durability over perfection." 1 year after first contact, Earth launched its first true space vessel. The ship was small by Union standards, but remarkable for how quickly it had been created. Named Pioneer, it carried a crew of 12 humans on a journey through their solar system. Taeho stood in mission control with Ji-young, watching the ship's progress on large screens. Earth scientists and engineers crowded the room, their excitement obvious. When Pioneer successfully reached Mars in half the expected time, cheers erupted. "Our calculated flight path was more conservative," Taeho observed. "Your captain took a riskier approach." "Captain Minji has been a test pilot for 20 years, Ji-young explained. "She trusts her instincts." Within 2 years, humans had established permanent bases on their moon and Mars. Both locations were considered barely habitable by Union standards, yet humans worked there with minimal protective equipment. They built structures, grew food, and conducted research in conditions that would require full environmental suits for most Union species. On a diplomatic visit to the Mars base, Taeho witnessed human adaptability firsthand. The base had lost power during a dust storm, dropping temperatures to dangerous levels. When emergency systems failed, the humans simply put on thicker clothing and continued working while repairs were made. "Doesn't the cold bother you?" Taeho asked a technician named Jinwoo. It's about like winter in my hometown," Jinwoo replied, his breath visible in the frigid air. "We'll have the heaters back online soon." By the 3rd year, Earth had built its first interstellar vessel. The ship incorporated Union designs but was distinctly human, overbuilt, redundant systems, capable of operating even with major damage. The Union Council was shocked at how quickly humans had progressed from planetary civilization to starfaring species. "They're moving too fast," warned Counselor Dong-hae during an emergency session. "They haven't had time to develop the necessary wisdom to use this technology responsibly." "They've had time," Taeho countered. "Their entire history is a series of crises survived, disasters overcome. They've learned hard lessons we never had to face." As Earth's first interstellar mission prepared for launch, Taiho met with Ji-young one last time before returning to his duties in the Union core worlds. They stood watching the massive ship in its orbital dock, nearly ready for its journey. "Where will you go first?" Taiho asked. "Proxima Centauri," Ji-young replied. "Your surveys showed it has planets similar to Earth." "Similar, but even more extreme," Taiho warned. "The radiation levels are higher, the gravity stronger. No Union species would consider settling there." Ji-young smiled. "It sounds perfect for humans." Taiho studied her face, seeing the determination that defined her species. "The Union has always seen worlds like Earth as evolutionary dead ends, places where life becomes too aggressive, too competitive to advance beyond planetary boundaries." "And now," she asked, "now we understand we were wrong. Your people weren't trapped by your harsh world. You were forged by it. The galaxy has challenges ahead that gentle worlds like ours never prepared us for." He gestured toward the ship. "That's why the Union needs humans." 2 days later, Earth's first interstellar ship departed, carrying 200 humans toward a world that most Union species would consider uninhabitable. As it accelerated to faster-than-light speed, it transmitted a simple message that would become humanity's unofficial motto among the stars. "We are from Earth, we can help.